The national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
Pat Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. In the air, right center field. Rock's on the move. Rock get there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a misstep. Deep three. Come on now. And don't connect. Probably trying this time. Indeed. New hand there. Down the middle. Got it on the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football at its absolute best.
This is college athletics at its absolute best. We are back. We are live, and we are a week closer to football time in Tennessee. I'm your boy, Skylar. It's the Fanatics Show. My co-host, Michael. How are we doing on this fine Thursday night?
You know, not doing too bad. It's been a long day today. A fun day, though, on the golf course. Sorry, just had to rub it in a little bit more.
Wow,
but, you know,
that's actually crazy. All right.
Yeah. But, you know, it hadn't been a bad day today. And we get to talk Tennessee football, man. You know, we got fall camps continuing this week. So it's exciting time, man. How you doing?
Man, I think that's the best way to describe it. We're so close it almost hurts. I mean, we're now week 2 of camp. There's a scrimmage coming up this weekend. Everything that you want to know and what gets you juiced. High school football starts in exactly 2 weeks here in East Tennessee. So like it needs to cool down a little bit more, but the atmosphere around here is right. And so you know how it is. Like I've been very, very real with my expectations in Tennessee football, but I mean, as we get closer to kickoff, I mean, I just, lofty expectations start to rise. I don't see why not. I mean, shoot, why can't we go 12-0? I mean, but no, realistically, we're a 9-3 football team. Keep lock in Tarpley. But before we get into a bunch of what we got to talk about, and Mike, I'm gonna let you do the rundown. But before we do that, I do want to let the folks know who keeps us rolling, and that is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company's fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today. Give him a call at 865-272-3387. And again, guys, Chris isn't just going to find you the cheapest rates, right? A lot of agents can do that. He's going to find you the best rates with the best coverages. That way, in my line of business, if you do have that terrible accident where it could be a fire, it could be water loss, who knows? But with Chris, you never have to have that worry of something not being covered. He takes care of his people as if they were his own, and that's why we appreciate him. And he's a supporter of the show, so we appreciate you, Chris. And without further ado, Michael, man, you want to give us a rundown of what we're talking about today?
Yeah, rundown for tonight. We're going to give a very brief kind of overview of what's been going on at fall camp before we start segment 1. Segment 1 is going to be the defensive back preview tonight.
Come on, man.
We are back with Boo Carter there. Just a spoiler. We'll get right into that here in just a few minutes. But defensive back group. Segment 2, we're going to talk about. Let's do Ole Miss first. So Ole Miss. In segment 2, going to give our schedule predictions there. Segment 3, we're going to give our South Carolina schedule predictions. So, Skylar, fall camp this past week, before we get into segment 1, obviously, number one story, Boo Carter back on the field. Not only that, he did sit out for a couple of practices as far as he wasn't fully participating with the team. He was doing his own workouts and stuff. Heupel did say that was going to be what he had to do to work his way back onto the field. The last couple of days, he has been a full participant in practices. I do believe there's still some other stuff he's having to do behind the scenes as well to make his way fully back onto the field. But he is back in pads. He's fully practicing with the team. which is a great sign for everybody that has been concerned about all that.
Yeah, I think it shows two things. One, he's doing what he needs to do to get back out there. And I think that is the most important thing to not just him, but his teammates. Two, I think it just shows how important he is to the team. So I love to see it. He is too valuable to be sitting on the sidelines when he needs to be getting every rep possible, especially if there's a chance we're going to see him on both sides, which I do think there is. And we're going to talk about just that because I think, in my opinion, the second biggest take from fall camp so far is injuries, especially in the wide receiver room. It's been every day, every other day now that we hear that somebody else is sitting out or taking it easy or non-contact jersey or XYZ. And it's not really what you need to see from a young group in the wide receivers. I don't know, Michael, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit concerning. You got Mike Matthews sat out a couple of practices with an injury. Chris Brazzell hasn't been a participant through most of fall camp. I do believe that one was just he had a little off-season procedure. He's still trying to work his way back that. I do think he's going to be 100% healthy for week 1, but that's yet to be seen. Like I said, Mike Matthews. Also going on a secondary, Ricky Gibson missed a couple of practices this week, not expected to be in a scrimmage on Saturday.
Braylon Staley.
Yeah, Braylon Staley has also missed time. So
the good news is about these injuries is nothing has come out saying that they're out for weeks. A lot of things, maybe some dinks, some bruises, some whatnot, but kind of has me questioning our strength and conditioning coach. Like, come on, man. Like, we can't be having these hurt style of injuries. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe they're just being careful because they don't want to overdo it before the season, and I get that. But, like, at the end of the day, like, we got to have some toughness, man. Like, your Division I SEC athletes, you get a bruised ankle or something like that, like, tape it up, get back out there and go get some reps in. I mean, it's important. We're not even 2.5 weeks away from game week. And so, I mean, I feel like the guys just really need to lock in and start treating these weeks as if it was game week. I mean, this is pretty much, I mean, with scrimmages tomorrow and not tomorrow, Saturday, and at the day of this recording, Thursday night, Saturday and next week, they can kind of have like their own mock game week type practices, which I'm sure they're doing. So, no, I mean, I think that's my biggest take. Boo Carter coming back, to me, it's important, yes, but like I kind of had a feeling that that's exactly what was going to happen. It's good to see it. It's good to have that confirmation instead of, Josh Heupel kind of leading you on saying he's working on it. Or I feel like with injuries, that's exactly what he does all the time. But at least with this Boo situation, he's been completely upfront about it, transparent. And even if he hasn't, he's allowed his media team to do it. So,
but anyway, I just watched the show for a while. You know me, I like to take a positive spin on things. Yes, these injuries are concerning, but you know what the good thing is? People like Travis Smith, Radarius Jackson, and Amari Jefferson, all of those young guys, Joakim Dotson.
Yep.
All of those guys are getting more reps, which just means they're going to be that much more prepared by the time week 1 rolls around, where let's just say some of these injuries are a little bit more nagging, might not be able to be 100% healthy by the time week 1 rolls around. Hey, some of these guys, they're getting the reps that they need to. They can be ready for game reps by the time week 1 rolls around. So, I mean, you can take that kind of spin on things. Obviously, injuries are never good. Only other thing I have from fall camp is this is coming from Eric Ainge, who is actually at practice, I believe, on Monday. All the quarterbacks, they've done a pretty good job overall. I came on last week and I said that Jake Merklinger has been impressing. He's been a very good leader on the field. He's really impressed that way. But Ainge came on and he said, they're all doing well. But Joey Aguilar is far and away better at the decision-making on the field. So they all have their strengths. They all have their weaknesses. They all look good. But the decision-making from Joey Aguilar compared to the other two quarterbacks right now, it's far and away better.
I think you heard it in Joey. Not Joey. Wow. I'm thinking about Joey Aguilar. I think you heard it in Josh Heupel's press conference the other day when he, it might have been yesterday, where he made the comment like, look, we're not necessarily going to go with the most talented or the strongest arm. We're going to go with the guy that can operate the offense.
Yep.
I think that's a telltale sign that's Joey Aguilar. And yeah, I know some people are going to be like, that makes no sense. He's only been in the system for like a week and a half. I'm like, nah, this dude's been studying our playbook for quite some time, but he has the veteran mentality, right? He's experienced and he's been able to catch on to this so much easier than the younger guys that's coming up. And I think hearing that statement from Josh Heupel made it. I mean, I think that's as close as you're going to get from Josh Heupel of him naming his starting quarterback. That you're going to get out of Josh. And I think that made it very clear. And I've been on this train literally since the beginning. I thought Joey Aguilar was going to run with it. And it does sound like it's far and away. So not a surprise to me. But at this point, let's ride. Like, let's get this guy, like, starting reps nonstop. The other guys need work too, and I get that. But, like, dude, like, let's go. Let's ride. Let's get it. I mean, I'm ready to see what this offense can do and cook against Syracuse. And as Tennessee Football 247 does say as soon as we got started, but he says he can't wait to put up 50 on Syracuse, and I can't wait to see it too, because I hope we get all the quarterbacks in the game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But here's what I will say: after Saturday scrimmage, I think we're going to be able to see a clear view as far as who that starting quarterback is going to be, and I think that's when you will see more than likely Joey Aguilar get more of those starting reps as we begin to prepare for Syracuse in week 1. But you got anything else on fall camp before we get right into the meat of this show?
No, I love that Ronnie Gardner's giving some compliments out. If you paid attention on that, and he's not a guy that gives out compliments.
He does not. No.
So to hear him do that is kind of refreshing. And one position group that's stable is the running backs group, man. I'm expecting high things out of that running back stable, and I think we're going to get that. Really, really excited about Deshaun Bishop taking that next step forward. But man, Peyton Lewis is looking like a dog right behind him, and I'm not going to forget about Star Thomas. I'm telling you, I think we got a great 3-headed monster at the running back position. So overall, camp's going great, and can't wait. I not only the scrimmage this weekend, but I will get to witness my very first practice on Monday. So I cannot wait to take some notes down, maybe see some VFLs, and get to report that back to you guys on Thursday next week.
Sounds like a plan, man. So let's get right into this. Our
can't go golfing, but I can go to a practice. It's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. So
is it?
Yeah. Now let's get right into this. Here's our segment 1 sponsor. It is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. You can contact Jeff Mull at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So, already mentioned it, we are looking at the defensive back group for this season. And, let's just start off. We kind of gave a little bit of an update last week, but the number one name everybody wants to know about, Jamal McCoy.
Yeah.
Jamal McCoy obviously had the offseason torn ACL, had surgery on it. How healthy is Jamal McCoy? Well, the answer is he's not 100% healthy. Probably won't be 100% healthy for, I'm going to say, the first half of the season. He is making strides. He's doing what he can in his training, in his rehab, and all that. But I don't expect to see him back for probably the first month of the season. How about you? That's
fair. I mean, I said that last week. I think that's a very fair assessment. I think there's two sides to every coin. Dude's draft stock's pretty high right now. Yeah. He's not going to. One, he's not going to do anything to hurt that. Two, he also wants to get back on the field. Mm-hmm. So I think you hit the nail on the head. Obviously, kind of. There's a bye week, I think, after the 5th game.
Yes, after we played Mississippi State, before we played Arkansas, there was a bye week.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Arkansas is the target.
I think that's the timeline I'm looking at. I seriously do. And but at the end of the day, I mean, Gerard's doing everything he can. Like, it's not like he's sitting back and saying, "Oh, I don't have to come back till Arkansas so I can take it easy." No, that's not how it's. I mean, the dude's only in like month 7 of this recovery, which is absurd to think he could have came back that quick for football. And especially being a defensive back when you're having to make a lot of your cuts on reaction, not knowing that you're going to make those cuts. So I think that's a big part that goes into that game. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, but like if you're backpedaling and you're covering a wide receiver, if that wide receiver decides to do a stop and go or a hard slant or whatever, then the defensive back is having to make those cuts based on reaction. They're not really getting to prepare for those cuts. Whereas a wide receiver, when they go to make their route, they know in their mind exactly what they're going to do, when they're going to cut, how they're going to plant, where their body position is going to be. And the defensive back just doesn't have that luxury. So you got to make sure that their ACLs, MCLs, everything is in great shape before you start making those 100% athletic cuts, whatnot. So no, I hate it, but I think it's the harsh truth, man. Week 5, week 6, I guess going into Arkansas is the timeline I'm expecting. But I don't think that's a problem because Colton Hood's showing out right now in fall camp.
Yes.
Ricky Gibson is holding it down. I mean, you've got 3, arguably 4 starting defensive backs at the corner position right now. And so having Gerard McCoy out is not the end of the world. Obviously, he's the best one. You want him on the field. But Ricky Gibson going into year 3 had plenty of experience the last 2 years. He's going to be just fine. And Colton Hood, seeing what he's doing right now in fall camp, I've got, as of right now, all the belief in the world that he can handle it. And cannot wait to see how he does in game, obviously. But he kind of got shadowed a bit, obviously, by you-know-who at Colorado. And but I think here he gets kind of a chance to shine. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so kind of continuing on with the corners here, another guy that I think we're going to see that I think can actually make a big impact this year, especially, if Ricky Gibson, if this injury that he has right now is a lingering one, Caleb Beasley, sophomore from Lipscomb Academy. Caleb Beasley, he's really been showing out in fall camp as well. So I feel really, really good right now about our 2 deep at the corner, especially whenever Jamal McCoy does get back. I think corner is going to be it. Am I wrong to say that I think that now the secondary is, well, obviously the defensive line is a strength of this defense, but am I wrong to say that I think the secondary is our second strongest position group on the defensive side of the ball right now?
Yes.
I mean, that's fair.
That's okay. I'm about to defend it.
Okay.
But like once one we're already lacking, we've already had injuries, right? Like if we have 1 or 2 more injuries, I get a little nervous. Andre Turrentine, 100% a safety. Let's kind of let's work this out. Yep. Andre Turrentine, safety. Boo Carter, nickel, star, whatever. You've got your 2 cornerbacks in Colton Hood and Ricky Gibson III. Who
you want my pick for who's going to be the other? Who's going to be the other safety?
Yeah, like if Boo goes down, who is it? Idris Farouk? It's
Idris Farouk, in my opinion.
So then, where does Jalen McMurray fall in?
So that's another one.
Jordan Thomas, I think. I've not heard positive things from Jordan Thomas this year.
So here's the thing about Jordan Thomas. And this is complete speculation. He's still battling
injury, by the way.
I was going to say, this complete speculation that actually came from Eric Kane, if I'm not mistaken, that, the injury that he suffered last year was a whole lot more serious than what everybody let on. So he's actually still dealing with lingering injuries, lingering pain, and all that stuff from that. So we might not even see Jordan Thomas again this year. And that's going to really hurt if he goes 2 full seasons without even seeing any action. But, I absolutely think that Jalen McMurray is going to see time because he's one of those rare guys that can go back and forth from safety to corner. He can fill whatever position is needed. So Jalen McMurray is definitely going to see the field. But, dude, I'm high, very, very high on Idris Farouk. He is an absolute headhunter. I think he's going to be on that other side. And honestly, if Boo Carter has not completely worked through all of his, getting back on the team type things, I think you might see Idris Farouk starting in that spot instead of Boo Carter in game 1.
Well, I think you're going to see Idris Farouk play in Boo Carter's position regardless, because I think they're going to try to lighten the load on Boo Carter on defensively just because you never know what he's going to be able to do offensively, special teams, whatever.
Yeah.
My thing about defensive backs, and the reason why I'm going to back up what I said about them not being the strong, I think they're going to be a good group if they stay healthy. The way I judge a group is if you're too deep, complete, like across the board. And I think you can shuffle some players to make it work, but I don't think you're 8 or 9 guys deep in the defensive back room right now, in my opinion.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
So that's where I stand. I feel like at linebacker you're there. I feel like at defensive line you're well there. I feel like at tight end you're there, and I feel like at running back you're there.
So can I amend my statement to say that top end, the defensive back group is the most talented group behind the defensive line group on the top end? Not maybe right now that linebacker group has got more talent just because.
I think the linebacker. I think they do between Edwin Spillman, Jeremiah Thielander, and Arion Carter. I seriously that's 3 starters at any SEC school in my opinion. I think Thielander is going to have a great year. By the way, I'm so high on Thielander, it's insane. But Edwin Spillman, Arion Carter, and I don't know. I think the defensive back group is very talented. I think this is. I'm getting excited because I'm so excited about this defense. I'm almost talking bad on the defensive back group, but I think they're all really good. I just think when you're trying to compare one over the other position-wise, it's hard to do that on this defense because I think this defense is going to be elite. Top 5 in the country. Top 5 in the country.
And it excites me so much to see each and every year, especially that secondary group, where it's going to be when you consider how bad it was just 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and I think their life, again, I'm going to say this, between the linebackers and the front 7, I think their life is going to be so much easier because they're not covering a guy for 4 or 5 seconds. I mean, it's not even 3 seconds. I mean, if that ball is not out of the quarterback's hands by the time Joshua Josephs gets 3 steps, dude, come on. Eat, dude. Like I'm very excited about this group, and as long as we can continue to just stay healthy, man, we can't drop another guy. Like I said, I just and maybe second half of the season we do drop a guy, but then Gerard McCoy's 100% healthy, and it's kind of like a shuffle game. I get it, but I just don't want to test it. I know it's football; injuries happen; it's part of the game. But no, I don't know. But yes, we've got Ricky Gibson, William Wright, the redshirt senior. Andre Turrentine, Gerard McCoy, Colton Hood, Jordan Thomas, which obviously still battling with injury, but Jalen McMurray, Idris Farouk, Boo Carter, Caleb Beasley. And then from there, man, do you have any other names that you think is going to kind of get to see the field or kind of get a chance to kind of have a spotlight on them?
You might see
snaps.
Trey Poteet get a little bit of time. The true freshman from Wisconsin.
Okay.
You might see him get a little bit of time. I hadn't heard much out of him in fall camp, but it does take some time to transition from a high school corner to a college corner. So maybe not on that one. As far as anybody else down through this list here, I'm not expecting anybody to see any meaningful snaps.
And if they do, we're in trouble.
That's a very good point. Very good point. All right, I guess the other one would maybe be Colin Brazel. He's a redshirt freshman from Midland, Texas. You might see him get in there a little bit, but once again, if we're seeing him get meaningful snaps, we're in trouble at this point because that means that we've lost a lot of guys to injury, and it's not a good thing if you're seeing a guy like that get meaningful snaps at this point in his career.
I agree 100%. So that's the rundown of the defensive backs. Again, I do think that they're going to have a great year, but I'm just that high on the defensive line and linebackers. I just can't put them above them. I just can't. I mean, you can all day long.
That's fair.
PFF grade wise, they might be better if you follow that or whatnot. But like just me, if their grades were better, I'm just giving that credit to the linebacker group and the defensive line. Like I just feel like I don't know if we see quarterbacks against Tennessee scramble and still not be able to complete passes and stuff like that, then yes, I'm giving that credit to the defensive line all day long, or defensive backs all day long. But like if the quarterback only has 3 seconds to throw it and he's kind of throwing some prayers and they're 50-50 balls that we're winning because our defensive backs are great, but I'm giving that credit to the D-line all day long. But anyways, it's all good. I love our defensive back room. Willie Martinez is doing the thing, and I think stay healthy if we can, and we'll be all right at the secondary positions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am intrigued to see how they rotate that star position because I don't think Boo's going to be 100% the guy. Not because he's not good enough, but I think when you become
if he is getting offensive snaps,
right, he can't play 100% of the snaps.
Correct.
No shot.
And that's where I really think you're going to see
more. Travis Hunter. You're not playing 200 snaps a game.
Exactly.
160, whatever.
And honestly, we might not see him on the offensive side of the ball for quite some time because right now he is only practicing on the defensive side of the ball.
As he should. He hurt himself on
Yes.
that. Like,
Yes,
100%.
absolutely. Yeah.
But with the lack of depth in the wide receiver room, I would not be surprised if he got some snaps at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with
Could be
you.
doing the thing where, obviously earlier in the year during spring training, he was doing like a week on defense, a week on offense, and then kind of mix it in at the end. Maybe you could be doing something like that. I don't know. We'll stay updated on that.
So before we move on, who's the guy that you're most intrigued about in the defensive back group for this?
Not even
season?
it's Colton Hood. I want to see this kid step in and come, play some ball to the point to where Dry McCoy may even make the decision of like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna just keep my draft stock high. And I'm not coming back. Colton Hood's locking it down. Ricky Gibson's locking it down. Colton Hood's 100% got my attention in the secondary. It's not even close. I think Andre Turntine's going to have a great bounce. I'm going to say bounce back year because I didn't feel like he lived up to expectation last year. But I feel like he's got the talent, and I feel like at this point he's got the experience in the leadership. I do see Andre Turntine being that guy. Obviously, the transfer from Ohio State, but no, it's Colton Hood all day long. What about you?
That's a great answer. My answer is going to be Idris Farouk. He got to play in all 13 games last year, granted minimal snaps, but he made the most of those snaps whenever he was out there. Had a, just fantastic, just headhunt tackle in the NC State game, to tackling the ball carrier in the backfield. And he's that kind of guy. He's just a headhunter. He's getting a lot better as far as reading the offense, being in the right spots. He's still young, but I'm very intrigued to see what kind of step forward he takes from last year to this year. And I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities this year.
Agreed. Jade in Facebook chat says, "What's up? How we doing?" Now, we appreciate you having spending your Thursday night with us here on the Vol Fanatics Show. And we're wrapping up our defensive back talk. Before we move forward, Michael, do you have anything else? I'm surprised you didn't say Caleb Beasley. I got to be honest. I thought that was the guy you were going for. But
and if it was,
you kind of seem to go for like the underdog type guy. So
if we were still talking from last year, my answer would have been Caleb Beasley. But I just like what I've seen from Idris Farouk.
I got you. I think I chose Colton Hood because
did you see the interception he had?
Well,
in practice?
but it's the expectation. Dry McCoy went down and you went and got Colton Hood.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard. Like, he's looking dead straight. Like, hey, I'm living for this. But like, as a fan, I'm like, dude, you got some pretty big shoes to fill, and I just want to see if he can put one shoe on, if that makes sense. I'm really looking forward to that. But no, overall, that is the defensive backs group. Hopefully, you guys learned a little something. If you didn't, well, at least you were here. So, Jade in the chat. Before we move forward, I'm here with a big Georgia fan. What's the predictions for the Tennessee-Georgia game? You're just going to have to wait till the week before. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
So without giving my actual prediction, I was going to say, without giving my actual prediction for who I think is going to win that game, you know what I am going to predict about that game?
Vols by 50.
There's going to be some very, I won't say questionable, but there's going to be some very inexperienced quarterback play in that game because Gunnar Stockton does not have a lot of experience at the collegiate level. It's going to be his fourth game as a starter because he did get to start in the playoffs last year. And you're looking at Joey Aguilar that has plenty of collegiate experience, but doesn't have it at the Power 5, especially in the SEC. I think you're going to see a very low-scoring game with a lot of mistakes from the quarterback position from both sides.
Look at you. All right. We're gonna talk about some other SEC teams, though. But before we do that, I do want to let you guys know who our segment 2 sponsor is, and that is P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. And guys, again, the team at P&L Business Services, top notch, very, very trustworthy, family. It's family oriented, and if you guys ever need anything so that you can kind of stay on track with the customer service, the great customer service that you provide, but maybe you feel like you're failing on the taxes or the payroll or anything like that, just go to pnobusinessservices.com and let them take over for you. They'll sit down with you, kind of get an understanding of what you do, how you do it. And then at that point, it's you just hand them the keys, man. They get it rocking and rolling for you, and you don't have to worry about Uncle Sam every March. Because we don't like that. I mean, nobody likes that. But we do appreciate P&O Business Services for being a massive support to our show. Let's see. Jade Woodard said he didn't disagree. How could you? I mean, that was straight facts. Come on now. No, it's gonna be fun. Like I said, I've not been a believer in Gunnar Stockton, but it's hard for me to say that knowing that I am a believer in Kirby Smart. And if Kirby Smart believes in Gunnar Stockton, then I guess I have to. Like, yeah. Kirby Smart's not. I mean, he's proven to me that he's one of the best coaches in the nation. And so if he thinks that Gunnar Stockton is the best guy for the job, he's got to be decent, because Kirby's been able to recruit pretty much whoever he needs. So I have a hard time thinking that Gunnar Stockton is not fit for the job if Kirby Smart's putting him there. So that's all I'm going to say about that. We're going to talk, though, about, you said Ole Miss first. I'm going to go first. How about that? Is that okay?
It's fine with me.
Right on. Georgia State, Ole Miss. Ole Miss, what do we know about Ole Miss? Transfer quarterback.
Transfer
running game's
quarterback,
great.
Austin Simmons.
Yep, Austin Simmons. They have a decent running back. Wide receiver core. I think
wide receiver core should be pretty good. I mean, that's one thing that Lane Kiffin tends to hit hard out of the portal each and every year. They get some good wide receivers in. So
my thing is, how's that Land Shark defense going to be?
Were they not always?
Were they not hit and miss last year? They had some games where they held a team to 10, 15 points, 14 points. They also had games that I was like, wow, they gave up quite a bit of points in that game.
Yeah.
But then they played Georgia, look, lights out. I understand the defense is going to look different than last year, but I don't know if that's a coordinator issue, if that's talent issue. I don't know what it is, but I felt like they were vastly inconsistent last year.
Yeah. You want to hear a couple of names that
sure, go for it.
The Ole Miss has. So this is out of the transfer portal. They picked up Caleb Odom, sophomore wide receiver from Alabama. You've got Harrison Wallace, senior wide receiver from Penn State. Looks like DeZon Stribling, senior wide receiver from Oklahoma State. This is one that you'll recognize. Kaiwan Lacey, running back from Missouri. And then not a wide receiver or running back, but you remember Luke Haas from Arkansas, the tight end?
I do not.
They now have him, as well as Deuce Alexander, wide receiver from Wake Forest. So, yeah, they hit the transfer portal.
Doing his thing, though, right? Piecing together a Frankenstein team, calling it Ole Miss. So,
yeah, exactly. And, I'll give him credit for one thing. He always tends to put together a team that is going to compete year in and year out, but do they meet expectations most years?
I just don't think you can have a championship caliber team doing that type of recruiting. In my opinion, I just don't see how it works out.
Because can you get all the pieces to gel together?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's it. Like, it's a brotherhood, and when you completely ruin the brotherhood by just bringing in people from everywhere that have zero loyalty or whatever, I mean, I just don't see how it's a winning. It's not a winning formula. That's why you've not seen it happen. In fact, I would say they've underachieved. I would say they
underachieved last year.
Dude, I had them winning it all. Not the Natty, but I had them winning the SEC. Well, no, I don't even think I had them winning the ship. I had them going undefeated in the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think I believed in Lane Kiffin on winning the championship games. But I did think that they had the schedule and the team and they beat Georgia, which was the crazy one that I picked. But like, I don't know, it's crazy to me.
But when you lose to teams like Kentucky and then Florida on the road, it was on the road. Never mind.
How do you lose to Kentucky?
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
But I do think, and I went ahead and put up a couple dubs because I think it's the most easiest dubs I think we've had in this show. Because I think that game at Kentucky, Lane Kiffin's probably had this game circled for a while. So it would be funny if they lost it. But I'm going to predict wins to start out the season. against Georgia State and Kentucky. And then they go to Arkansas, and a very intriguing game against Arkansas. And I think it'll be a tight game, but I think it's going to be a big swing game for both Arkansas and Ole Miss. But I do have Ole Miss taking the dub here. I just think they do have the better talent, and I do trust their coach a little bit more. Surprisingly, I know. Tulane, solid team, but I don't think solid enough for Ole Miss. So they start pretty hot. 4-0 going into LSU. They host LSU. I think that's huge. But if expectations serve right, LSU should get this win in a 59-57 shootout, because that's what you're going to get with Ole Miss and LSU every year. Washington State, after a bye week, easy win. Easy win. Sorry, hit the wrong tab. It's I'm new to this. At Georgia. This is where it gets tricky. I feel like Ole Miss is such a swing team, man. I feel like they could have a really good year because there's a bunch of unknowns with all these transfers, or they not gel and they don't really win a single big game. But I think for the sake of business, I'm gonna stick to the safe route, and I'm gonna say that Georgia's had this game scheduled or circled on their schedule for a while, and it's home for Georgia, away for Ole Miss. I did it again. I'm going to give a loss there for Georgia, for Ole Miss against Georgia. At Oklahoma, dangerous right after Georgia. Don't want to lose 2 games in a row, right? But I did it. I got to stay true, though. I do have Oklahoma beating Ole Miss. South Carolina home game, much needed back in the Grove, I guess is what they call it, out hotty toddy. The Grove. I think they get the win against South Carolina. I think they get the win against Citadel. And then Florida is a tricky one. I got to look back, man. I don't know how I picked that one. Did we already did the Florida prediction, right? It was last week?
Yeah, we did Florida.
How did I do that one? All right, okay, good. I think that's how I wanted it. I do have them beating Florida. Because didn't they lose to Florida last year?
Yeah, that was the game where what's his name? Jackson Arnold. You got Ole Miss winning, right?
Yeah, I know. I just did it again.
Yeah.
I'm new to this.
That was a game where Jackson Dart threw like 3 interceptions in the final 4 minutes of the game, 2 minutes of the game, something like that.
Sounds about right. Yeah, he had like 17 tries to get it right and failed every single one of them.
Yeah.
Cried after the game, which is understandable if you care about football. But like at the same time, don't cry when it was, in my opinion, don't cry when it's your fault. Cry when it's something that was out of your control or something. I don't know. Like, be better. But overall, I've got Ole Miss going 9-3, and this is like the most typical Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly type season. I just think that's what you are with those type of coaches. And yeah, I think the best case scenario for Ole Miss this year is a win over LSU and Oklahoma, and it's 11-1. I think they drop one to Georgia, and even if they beat Georgia, I think they drop one somewhere else. In my opinion, there's absolutely no way they run the table this year. But I think worst case scenario, you drop to South Carolina, you drop to Florida. I think Florida could be a little bit better this year than maybe their schedule will allow them to be, if that makes sense. But I think worst case scenario, you're looking at 7-5 for Ole Miss. I think best case, though, you're looking at 11-1. 9-3 overall. If you want to clear the board, I'm going to write these notes down.
All right. So yeah, Ole Miss this season, yet to be determined. This is the first year in really the last 3 or 4 years that you're really breaking in a new quarterback. Jackson Dart has been there for 2 years. Before that, I can't remember who it was, but Matt Corral.
Yep.
Matt Corral was a good quarterback there. Sean says I'm late to the party, but
Hey,
Doesn't like Ole Miss.
I don't think Sean likes really anybody. I'm
Except
starting
for
to learn
Tennessee,
that.
so.
I'm starting that Sean is like screw everybody, but Tennessee, which
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect it, honestly.
Yeah, so going down the schedule here, going down the schedule here, Georgia State, that's going to be a win in week 1 at Kentucky. You said it. Lane Kiffin's had this one circled on his schedule for a while. They're
Man,
going to
Kentucky's
win
bad.
at
So
Kentucky
bad.
this year.
So
They
bad.
are.
I will say it every
Arkansas,
chance I get.
Arkansas in week 3. I think this is going to be a close game,
Mhm.
but I do think that Ole Miss gets a win. Tulane, a little bit tricky. Tulane gave them a run for their money for a little while last year before their starting quarterback got injured, and Ole Miss kind of pulled away. But Ole Miss going to get a win in that one. LSU on September the 27th. I think Skylar's 100% right. This is going to be a shootout type of game, but I do think that Ole Miss is going to get a win in that game. The game is in Oxford. If it was in Death Valley, I would say LSU probably wins that one, but I do think Ole Miss gets the win there. And continuing the hot streak, I think they beat Washington State. This is where things kind of change here. Ole Miss is feeling good, 6-0. All the hype is there. Honestly, you probably see College Game Day go to either this game right here against Georgia or to the Tennessee-Alabama game, depending on what the teams look like. But at Georgia, I think that Georgia is going to have revenge on their mind after what happened last year. The game is in Athens. I think Georgia wins that game. Against Oklahoma, at Oklahoma the week after, I think that they have a hangover game from getting beat against Georgia. So I think that Oklahoma actually, wrong one. I think that Oklahoma actually gets a win in that game. I do think that following that game, you have a get right game against South Carolina. If the game was in Columbia, South Carolina, I've got South Carolina winning this one. But with the game being in Oxford, you just lost 2 straight. I think they rallied the troops a little bit. You get a win against South Carolina in a very tough game. The Citadel, that's going to be an easy win after that. Florida, game in Oxford. I've already said that I think Florida wins, and I think Florida wins. Man, I did it again. I think Florida wins. Florida wins in that game there. At Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. So I actually found out today whenever I did this schedule that, used to the Egg Bowl was on Thanksgiving night. Then last year they moved it to Saturday off of Thanksgiving. This year it's on a Friday night, the day after Thanksgiving. And I think that they have a letdown spot in the last game of the season in Starkville. I think Mississippi State gets a win there. So I've got Ole Miss going 8-4 this year. Not having a very good back half of the schedule after starting off the season 6-0.
Dropping the last 2. So that's definitely a hangover from Florida. And I guess maybe not being locked in for Mississippi State. I don't know. Like, that's okay. I get it.
Yeah. So I've got them going 8-4. My floor for this team, I actually think that they could drop one to Arkansas in week 3 if they're just not focused enough. I think you could drop the game to LSU and then to South Carolina. So on the low end, I've got them going 5-7. I don't see that happening because Lane Kiffin is going to have an explosive offense. They're going to win. They're going to have a winning record this year. This isn't the Ole Miss, pre-Lane Kiffin, pre-Hugh Freeze. This is going to be a decent team this year regardless. So 5-7, that's on the very low end. Should not happen whatsoever. On the high end, I've got them beating Oklahoma, Florida, and Mississippi State, only getting beat by Georgia. So 11-1 is the ceiling, but I think 8-4 is where we're going to see Ole Miss this year.
Right on. Sean says he's not that bad on Ole Miss, just very anti-Lane Kiffin. That's very understandable. Let's see, Rhonda in the chat. We appreciate y'all guys being here. Thank y'all so much. I'm all of all. Hard to pull for Ole Miss except against South Carolina. A beamer ball. Come on now. PTG Brandon says Simmons has been in Oxford for 2 years. I think he'll be better than people think. I don't think we've doubted him. I think he is going to be decent. I just think when you have Frankenstein's style of teams like Lane Kiffin's just putting together year after year. I just don't know if they're going to be able to gel enough ever to win a championship ever.
I mean,
I don't know.
so far it's proved unsuccessful for anybody that's tried piecing together a team like that to win a championship. Now, you've seen Ole Miss do it and have success. You've seen Tennessee do that and have success, but to win a championship.
Tennessee, I feel like, only pulled players in positions of need. They've not necessarily they don't just necessarily go out and pick and choose because they're number one in the transfer portal rankings or whatever. We're going to go get that player. I feel like Josh Heupel's been very calculated on how he picks the guys out of the portal, in my opinion.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
But either way, I do have to make a correction on my schedule prediction for Ole Miss.
Okay.
In the LSU prediction, I have LSU losing to Ole Miss at Ole Miss, and I think I even said something along the lines of I have to go with the home team on this one. So, with that being said, I have them going 10-2, and I still keep the low and the high on the same, but I will be correcting my schedule there. So I have them going 10-2, and I wanted to make sure that that was said before we post this thing, and I get roasted in the comments for having flip-flopped my answers there so that I could never be wrong.
So with that 10-2, does Ole Miss make the playoffs or do they get left out?
With that 10-2, they make the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think every 10-2 team makes
the playoffs this year.
Yeah. They won't do anything with it. Don't worry.
So we ready to move on to South Carolina, finish this thing off strong?
Let's do it, big dog. Who's our segment 3 sponsor?
Segment 3 sponsor, you already know it is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at kaizenpainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So South Carolina is the other team that we're going to look at tonight. And I will go first on this one after I change out our sponsored logo there. So South Carolina, in my opinion, there's a lot of hype around this team this year. I'm very high on South Carolina, even though I'm not a Shane Beamer fan. Don't like him whatsoever. But I just look at what they did last year and what they have coming back this year. I mean, obviously, you start off with Lenora Sellers at quarterback, which, by the way, just a little side note. Do you remember the name Luke Doty?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know
he's the quarterback that was kind of like the GM, but I don't know.
Did you know he's still on the roster?
So he wasn't the GM that became the quarterback. That was another guy. So he was the true freshman for South Carolina, I'm assuming. And then I guess that's crazy. Where is he at?
He is listed as an athlete.
For South Carolina?
Yes. He doesn't have a specific position, but he's listed as an athlete on South Carolina's roster. But dude is still there. I feel like he's one of those that's been there for 8 seasons. That
a boy. But we couldn't get Zakai Ziegler another year. That's fine. I'm not even really hurt about it. It's not a big deal. It's whatever. Zakai's doing big things in the NBA. It's fine.
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously, the Norris Sellers is the guy that you are really basing everything around. I feel like they've got some talent at wide receiver as well for him to throw to. Not exactly sure who the running backs are going to be this year because you did have I believe Rocket Sanders is gone now. I think he graduated. I'm not seeing his name anywhere on the roster. But you do have a transfer running back, Rasul Faison from Utah State, that I think is probably going to see some time this season. I mean, I think that the defense is going to be solid for South Carolina regardless. It has been each and every year under Shane Beamer. Of course, they're always going to do crazy things on special teams as well. But I think the offense is going to be dynamic this year once again with Lenora Sellers at the helm.
We got some shade being thrown in the chat. Now, Sean says Not sold on Beamer Ball, but a fan of Sellers. If he can stay healthy, give him 8-4. However, PTG Brandon says sell the Sellers.
Ooh, sell it.
Sell the Sellers.
Man. So
Is
all right,
it-
so
I'm
he's
gonna ask, is
he's
it
a
due to
he's a
injury?
rich he's a now he I do think he has been in a boot at one point, or maybe
Yeah.
I'm thinking of DJ
Well,
Lagway.
What? No, DJ Lagway's been in the boot, but Lenore Sellers did have a knee issue last year. I think for like a game or two.
Yeah.
Not even.
You could be right on that. So I mean, he is a redshirt sophomore this year. Do we see a sophomore slump from him? That is the big question. I personally think we're going to see a good Lenore Sellers.
Okay.
So I'll go first on this one. They do start on Sunday night this year. That game is in Atlanta against Virginia Tech. I've got South Carolina winning this game. South Carolina State in week 2, that's going to be a win as well. Vanderbilt, always a tough game whenever you play against Vanderbilt. Don't know who's going to win. I'm kidding, by the way. South Carolina's going to win that one. No problems. At Missouri in the Governor's Cup, I do think this one is going to be pretty close because this game always tends to be back and forth type deal. It is tough to win in Como, especially in this game, but I do think South Carolina gets a win in this one as well. Kentucky on September the 27th. I do think that they get a win against Kentucky. LSU, this game is at LSU after a bye week. And I bring that up because I think that's very important. They get this, one of their toughest games on the schedule after a bye week. Now, I will say this as well. LSU is coming off of a bye week. But I think that we're going to see a very motivated South Carolina team after the way they lost to LSU last year in Columbia. And I think they go to Baton Rouge and they steal a win from LSU in this game.
Whew, okay.
Oklahoma on October the 18th. This game, if it was in Norman, I think is a different story. But I think that South Carolina gets a win against Oklahoma. You see, I've got a thing going here.
Yes, I do.
Alabama. I think this is very similar to the LSU game.
There's
And
absolutely no way.
This game is at home for South Carolina.
There's no way.
I think they get a win against
Beamer's
South Carolina.
not doing this, bro. No shot. But all right, I get it. You're high on him. I got to respect it. This is lovely for me because at the end of the day, I mean, we kind of have a little prize on who's going to win the win and it's fine. Keep going. I'm loving this actually. They're going to beat Ole Miss too.
And this is going to keep me ahead. Okay. in our little competition.
We'll definitely see about that.
No, they do drop their first game of the year to Ole Miss. I think that for one, they're going to be riding high on their winning streak that they've got so far, starting off the season 8-0.
I think you're a couple weeks late on that, but yeah,
I very well could be. But you know what? The way the schedule plays out, I think that this is what could happen.
Beamer Ball, knowing Beamer Ball, they beat Vanderbilt, and he's going to be riding high on a 3-game winning streak. I mean, come on,
fair enough.
It's fine. I get it.
No, Ole Miss. This is where they dropped their first game. That game on the road. You're also looking ahead to the bye week at that point. So I do think that they dropped that game to Ole Miss. I actually think they dropped 2 in a row because coming off the bye week, you're traveling to College Station, playing against Texas A&M. And while I think Texas A&M is going to be good this year too, and this could be a very good game, I give the home field advantage at that point to Texas A&M to get the win. Coastal Carolina, next to last game of the season, a tune-up before you play against Clemson. That's going to be a win. Clemson, final game of the season. I have gone back and forth on this game so many times this offseason because Clemson, I think, is going to run away with the ACC this year. I don't think there's going to be any competition there for Clemson. But saying that, they've struggled with South Carolina. As South Carolina gets this game at home, I think this is the one blemish on Clemson's record this year. I think South Carolina gets a win against Clemson and finishes off the season 10-2 and makes the college football playoffs this year.
Right on. I respect it. Rhonda says that's one time I would pull for Vandy.
And, like I've said multiple times, I cannot stand Shane Beamer. I've said that multiple times in the going on 3 years that we've done this podcast. I cannot stand Shane Beamer.
I feel like me and
I think
Brandon
he's
see a
gotta-
lot more eye to eye than what you got going on here. I don't even see 10-2 as the ceiling here.
I think this could be a very good year for South Carolina.
No. If they do this, Lenore Sellers winning the Heisman.
Very possible. Yeah.
That's a hot take. Clip that up. I don't even care. If they go 10-2 or better, Lenore Sellers has to win the Heisman because their defense has still got awful, in my opinion. And I'm just not a believer in Shane Beamer. I could be a believer in the fact that his carries carry him to make him look like a better coach. He get the big raise, and then he falls off the face of the planet after he loses Lenore Sellers. But kudos to him for getting a great buyout at that point. But I just do not see. I don't see it. Clear the board. It's fine.
Well, I gotta get my ceiling and floor.
Yeah,
so
we'll get your ceiling and floor. That's fine.
I do agree with what Brandon said. I think that the absolute ceiling is 10-2 because I think that even if you beat one of Ole Miss or Texas A&M there, I think you would lose to Clemson or LSU or even Alabama somewhere in there. So I think 10-2 is the absolute ceiling for this team. As far as the floor goes, obviously, I think that you can lose to Clemson, you lose to Alabama, you lose to LSU. That puts you down to 7-5 right there. I don't see you doing much worse other than maybe a loss to Oklahoma. So I would say 6-6 is the floor for this team. I think making a bowl game is just the absolute floor for this team this year.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get this on the... You're going to love this. This is one of the biggest swings. It's not crazy big, but Virginia Tech, I think we can agree.
That one. Don't say that.
Virginia Tech's on the rise, man. Have you not seen the moves that they made in the... no, I'm joking. SC State, that's a win. Vanderbilt, I agree, that's a win. Missouri, I agree, that's a win. Even at Missouri. Kentucky, that's a win.
So we're both on the same page. They start off 5-0.
But I have their high rise. Like, it's happening right here. Like, they're not beating LSU. Right? No. They're not beating LSU. No, I did it again. God darn. They're not beating LSU. Not at LSU. And at this point, if I've got my schedules right, LSU, in my prediction, would be coming off a loss to Ole Miss. Hungry. Defending home field. No shot. No shot. Shane Beamer's not that guy. But Oklahoma, now, I will say this. I do think they bounce back against Oklahoma. I'll give them the win there. Let's see. Right here? Yeah. Alabama, however. No. Like, this is where it kind of falls off for South Carolina. At Ole Miss. No. I don't see it. And then you got the back-to-back road trips, but you do have the bye week in between. I think that's key. So, and for that reason, I think I'm still going to give them a loss against A&M. I just don't see it. I don't see South Carolina as this caliber of team. I do think they beat Coastal. But Clemson's hype-wise, roster-wise, Clemson's one of the best teams that Dabo's had in quite some time. They're not beating Clemson, I don't think, this year. So I've got South Carolina going 7-5. I've actually got their floor going 4-8, and here's why. Vanderbilt, Missouri, I think are very, very close to being the exact same. So if they were to lose to one of those teams, I think I could see them losing to both of those teams. So Vanderbilt, Missouri, this is the floor. So they lose to Vanderbilt, Missouri, and then I would also say they would lose to Oklahoma because I think Oklahoma is actually a step above Vanderbilt and Missouri. So I could see them going 4-8 legitimately, and I think that's where you look at Shane Beamer and it's like, man, you really had to capitalize against Vanderbilt, Missouri at the beginning of the year. But I do think that their ceiling's 9-3. I mean, I think with the schedule here you're looking at, I think if they could beat Clemson because that is a rivalry game, and then I think you beat A&M or Ole Miss to get to 9-3. But I think that's just the absolute best in the cards for South Carolina this year. I think the schedule's really tough, especially LSU and beyond. You do have Coastal Carolina slit in there, but like, I mean, it's LSU, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, A&M, Clemson. I mean, that is 6, and I'm not even going to call them toss-up games. Those are 6 tough games. So I don't see it in the cards for South Carolina this year. I think it could be one of those things where they're a good team, but it's just got a tough schedule. Not one that I would sign up for at least. So,
so Rhonda asked in the comments, who's the backup quarterback? So looking at the roster here, of course, you got Luke Doty that I already mentioned. He's played quarterback before. That's probably going to be your guy. Something wants to happen to Lenore Sellers. Or you've also got Air Noland is his name, redshirt freshman, actually transferred from Ohio State. So those would probably be the 2 guys that are backup quarterbacks. Brandon says, got to watch out for the Penn State backup quarterback transfer in Como. Obo might throw for 127 yards that day. You know, that's fair coming from a Penn State quarterback. So,
but Missouri's known for running the ball anyways. So
that's true. So that's going to wrap up tonight. But before we get out of here, next week, running back preview. I think it just leaves us 2 position groups, running back and quarterback, because we don't really do special teams much. I mean, obviously, Max Gilbert's going to be the kicker. You got, Jackson?
Ross.
What's his name? The punter? Yeah, Jackson Ross, the punter. As long as Boo Carter is back, that's probably going to be your punt returner, and then kick returner is going to be probably a wide receiver and running back that's not getting a whole lot of time on the kickoff team. So running back preview next week. 2 teams that we're doing predictions for.
I think one that I thought we were going to be doing this week, but Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
And I think give me a quick refresher on who we have left.
So we have...
But Texas A&M is definitely the next.
Alabama, and we have Georgia.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Who do we have left?
We have Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Texas. And then, of course, Tennessee. But that's going to be the final week as we also do our week 1 predictions.
Let's do A&M and now. I don't want to do the same thing as last year, bro. I've
got a suggestion. Let's do either next week.
We're kind of like at a coin flip where we feel like all these are going to be about the same. So
yeah, I feel like we either do Alabama, Georgia next week, or we do Texas, Texas A&M next week, and then the following week
Texas A&M. That's what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, Texas A&M.
All right, let's do that next week, and then the following week we got Alabama, Georgia, and the quarterback preview. So
I like it. Rhonda, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Go Big Orange. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, and appreciate you, Brandon. First time catching us. Had a good time. Hey, appreciate you joining in.
I like Brandon a lot, too. I feel like me and him are kind of, on the same page. It's cool. If you want to be my new co-host, I don't mind. As long as you can be a producer, honestly.
It's about time that you have somebody that agrees with you, because, I mean, I've got somebody that always agrees with me.
You always get the love on this show, man. And it's fine. At least somebody gets it. Somebody's got to be a bad guy on this show. It's fine. It's all right. Yeah. Good cop, bad cop. No, man. We appreciate y'all guys, for real.
Yeah, all right, man. You got anything else before we hop off?
No, man. Just going to say that's going to wrap it up for this week. I will keep you guys up. I'm going to practice Monday. I'm so excited about that, but I will kind of let you guys know what I see. Probably won't get to see too much if they're allowing the public to come. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll probably get to watch the quarterback stretch. It's fine. But we'll keep you guys updated. Keep you updated on fall camp, scrimmage, intel, anything you guys need. I'm not an insider. I'm just a fan, a fanatic. That's what we are here at the Vol Fanatics Show. But we appreciate you guys being tuned in, and be sure to catch the next one next week. Go Big Orange.
Yeah. Go Big Orange, everybody.